So here we are on Largo Garibaldi. It's a famous street in Modena that becomes Via Emilia, and this is our fountain. At night it's beautiful because the lights all change colors and it's really pretty to see. So if you look down Via Emilia, it goes into the town where we'll be momentarily, and Via Emilia is a road that goes all the way from Rome to Milan. So now we're walking along Via Emilia. Again, our important road that runs east and west through Modena. You can see our beautiful tower in the background. It's also an important shopping district here in the center. Throughout the center of Modena, you'll find a lot of different covered sidewalks. Many of them you can still see the beautiful frescoes from years past. This particular one is taking us on a passageway toward our ducal palace. Here we are at the Palazzo Ducale, the ducal palace, where the Duke used to live when there was one. It's a beautiful building, topped with many different sculptures. It's on a piazza with another sculpture. And as you can see, they're doing some reconstruction here to make it more of a social place. This used to be one very large parking lot. It's now going to be filled with fountains and benches and be a place where people can come to relax and socialize. Here we have one of our many, many churches in Modena. This is in the Piazza San Giorgio. It's a lovely church inside and out, located on a simple side street. Also here, something very common to us in Italy is dining al fresco. Many days of the week you'll see people out here regardless of the weather, unless it's raining of course, every temperature having coffee, aperitivo, lunch, and sometimes dinner. And here we are in the center of the center, near our lovely Torre della Ghirlandia. It's our tower, built around the year 1000. And next to it is our Duomo and our main piazza. We'll take a look from the other side. So here we are, standing in the middle of Piazza Grande, looking at our Duomo and again our lovely tower. Piazza or plaza in Italy are very common, of all sizes and shapes. Places where different gatherings are held, markets, festivals, and sometimes just socializing. Our piazza right now is uncharacteristically empty, but you can see how lovely the area is. It's surrounded by cafes and shops as well. And here we are at my favorite place to go, Mercato Albinelli. It's our covered market where we have everything to buy that's fresh and beautiful. This is the place where I buy my fruits and vegetables. Ciao! Fresh cheese of every description. Other dairy products as well. It's a beautiful market filled with all kinds of lovely, lovely fresh food. Most of it is made or grown locally, and if it isn't completely local, it's usually imported just from Italy. Isn't it beautiful? This is something difficult to catch on film, but if you can notice, both the tower and the Duomo building lean. This is very common to historic buildings in Italy. We're not quite sure why, but Pisa can't make the only claim to having a leaning tower. Here's our Duomo from the front. Look how beautiful. One of the interesting things about the Duomo in Modena is that it's the only church that was built by the city and not by the Catholic Church. I wish I could take you inside. Adjacent to the Duomo is another lovely church. We're now walking in a newly built pedestrian area where they've just are finishing the construction. As you can see, it's a brick walk which is surrounded by, on each side, by cobblestones. We were very fortunate to be able to watch them laying the cobblestones by hand, one at a time. It's an amazing bit of labor, but beautifully done. This street is called Via Taglio, and it runs up to a place called Piazza della Pomposa. Via Taglio is another shopping street, and this particular part of it is in the university area. At the end is this lovely little church. We'll see if it's open. And that's Piazza Pomposa ahead of us, where frequently are held markets and festivals and various forms of entertainment. And again, lots of cafes and bars and gathering places for people in the evenings. Right now, we're in the quiet hours, which is the time after lunch, when people still actually do shut their businesses and take siestas, as it were. So that's why there aren't very many people around as we walk. And here's our little church. Something else to note is in these buildings where you see all of the windows and shutters. These are all apartments where people who live in the center choose to reside. A lot of times the buildings look very closed in, but in reality most of them have a lovely courtyard in the center and only keep the walls facing outward. We'll see if we can find one to peek into. So now here we are at one of my favorite places. It has two names, Novi Park and Novi Ark. Novi Park because it's a very large underground parking area, and Novi Ark because when digging to make the parking garage, a lot of Roman ruins were found, not the least of which is this road that has been rebuilt stone by stone. It was part of the Roman road between Rome and Milan, where you can actually see the tracks, the ruts made by the wheels of the carts that traveled in and out of the city. Given that these are all stones, it gives you an idea of how much traffic there was back in those days. The large lights you see behind you are Modena's big soccer stadium, otherwise known as football in Europe, because you actually use your foot to kick the ball. We also have some headstones and other gravestones that were Roman. And this is all built the former agricultural center, which has since been converted into university libraries and classrooms. On Mondays, around these two tracks, which are extremely large, more than half a mile around, they also have a market, and there are booths set up on both sides of the track for the entire circle of the park, where they sell various items, and you can get all of your shopping done at a bargain price. And now here we are at our Palazzo dei Musei, which is our Palace of Museums, which is a lovely facility open to the public for free admission, where we have a number of different museums inside, archaeological, art, and any kind of special show. Let's just take a peek in the front door. I was talking earlier about the courtyards and entrances to buildings. This is one such example. This is inside of the Palazzo dei Musei. Here, just in the entry and the courtyard, we're able to see crypts, sculptures, and Roman art that dates back as far as the 2nd century. Craftsmanship, the attention to the detail, and imagine doing all of this without any power tools. Now we're starting the walk home. I just thought you might like to see a typical street. Another bar. The bar is a very important part of Italian life. You start your day there with a coffee or a cappuccino. You might have a mid-afternoon break for another coffee. And you meet there in the evening for some social time with a drink and a snack. And your friends, called aperitivo. That's something you do before dinner that's supposed to stimulate your appetite. One of the many things we love about living in Italy. Still on our way home. This is an example of one of the covered walks where the frescoes are still there to be seen. So here we are at a very important part of our lives, our local bar called the Athenaeum. Let's go say hi. Okay?
Hi Julie!
Ciao Fabrizio! Ciao Linda!
Hi Neil! Hi Cindy! Sorry man!
Cindy's class in Marquette. Ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the road behind our building where we have to drive our car to get into the garage. These are actually sidewalks on either side of the road, and normally it's filled with cars all the way down the side, and we have to go around them to get in the garage. So you can see why it's a really good idea, if you do have a car in Italy, to have a small one. One of the main roads that goes around the outside of the city is called Via della Rembranza. It's a park set up along a boulevard as a memorial to those who fought in the war. This is right across the street from our building, where we're going next. And here is our home. This building was originally built as a private palace around 1849. It now houses a number of apartments or condominiums, as well as 3 banks. So fortunately for us, security is not an issue. As I mentioned before, many of these buildings open into lovely courtyards, and ours is no exception. We're very proud of our building. It's a bit grander than most, but we really enjoy coming home to this every day. Let's go inside. 2 secured gates. First courtyard. Frescoed ceilings in the entry. Second courtyard. And this is the main courtyard. The only thing it's missing are benches, so we can sit outside and enjoy it. Unlike many buildings in Modena and Italy in general, we actually have an elevator. They say you can fit 5 people in there, but I think you'd really have to like each other. We usually choose to take the stairs. It's good exercise. We generally walk everywhere here anyway. Transportation in the center is very difficult. The roads are small. Parking is almost non-existent and rather expensive. And really, we can walk from one edge of the city to the other, which takes us from home to the train station in about 20 minutes. So there's no need, really, to fire up the car. And all of this beautiful stonework is actually paint. But the wrought iron is real, and the marble staircase is real. 69 steps, and here we are. A bit out of breath every day. And here is our home. So there you are, a little video journal to introduce you to Modena and a little bit of our life in Italy. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along, and ciao.